Hi everyone, we're back from our holiday.
Woo!
And it's episode 15 of Good Grief.
Yay.
I don't know what's better, being on holiday or episode 15 of Good Grief.
I know what I think. Wait, say it to the listeners.
Or listening to Good Grief on your holiday.
Hey.
Today is a really good episode, in my opinion.
I agree.
Perfect. Because we know that when you're grieving, people just want to give you the answers to make you feel better, and the truth is that there are no answers. So this episode is all about what's helped me cope. Not fix it, not smile, not laugh, just cope. Because as we've stressed many times, a good day when you're grieving can be getting yourself in the shower, making yourself eat, having some water.
Yeah.
I'm still not over that 6 years later. I'm joking, I'm just a dehydrated girly. But yeah, me and Maz have got together some resources to hopefully help anyone that is grieving, and to just give a pointer of like little sentences, little things that we've received during our grieving journeys, whether it's obviously just through books, podcasts as well, conversations we've had with each other, with other people, acts that people have done for us or acts that we've done for ourselves. Just to help us cope, and let's stress the cope rather than the happy, because we don't want you to we're not expecting you to go out clubbing after you've read a sentence in a book when you're deep in grief. So yes, would you like to start?
Okay, I don't mind starting. Yeah, sounds good. So in the height of my grief when I lost my dad, obviously him dying suddenly and unexpectedly was such a shock. So I think we'll kind of talk about the stages of grief in a second. Spoiler alert. But I think I was very much in the shock stage for quite a while. So I guess one of the things that helped me come to terms with my loss was the Pretty Painful Grief book.
That is a pretty book as well.
It's very pretty. And it says to be permission to be a fucking mess granted. You have to feel if you want to heal, and I love that saying. That's a great quote, I feel.
I really like that.
Yeah,
I really like that. Not a truer word has been said. Whoever wrote that.
Do you know what? It's a if you like Married at First Sight Australia, Lucinda always says it as well, which is so true. I think it's very important. And this isn't really a book; it's more of a journal. And it essentially just asks you really, really confronting questions to help you write down how you're feeling, your emotions, things like that. To be honest, it's one of those I pick it up and leave it. I found in the early days it was helpful for me to come to terms with that loss. I haven't really used it since, but I think I've got new ways of coping, and I think that's another thing to highlight. Your ways of coping with grief change throughout.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So what works for you at the early stages might not always work for you throughout. So it's about I guess finding new approaches to learn and help you with that loss. But yeah, it asks you really confronting questions essentially. So an example, how has grief impacted your relationships with others?
I like that.
Yeah. A truth you can handle today and a truth that feels too big for now. So I basically just started answering the questions I wanted to answer. And actually, I haven't picked up this book since actually the 17th of April, 2025. I dated them because I thought it'd be not nice to look back.
Yeah, it's a bit of light reading before bed.
But it's sometimes good for me to look back on, because there's so many emotions that come with grief that you sometimes forget where you were. And it's not about remembering where you were, but also looking back on how far you've come on that day, for example. So yeah, that's the last time I wrote in it, and I basically just picked and chose what I wanted to. But yeah, I would recommend, in terms of helping you come to terms with your loss, the Pretty Painful Grief book by William Hunter Howell.
Big up. Sorry, that's a banned phrase. I find the journaling aspect really interesting, especially from you, because I've never journaled in my life until recently. And I find it really difficult to think about how I did actually cope at the time, because I have no idea, to be honest. I can't remember. I can't remember doing anything sort of, in my opinion now, that was productive in terms of helping me for the long run. I was just trying to escape it. So I do find it really interesting how journaling sort of not helps as such, because I remember you were telling me you found one of your old journal entries in it and it tore you up a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of
Understatement of the century.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, I can imagine it's really helpful in the sense that you're now 8 months in and you can look back at how you are now compared to how you were then, and not only see progression in terms of how you can handle things, and you know, the feelings of that were once despair are now feelings that you can are more palatable. I guess, I mean, there's still moments of despair, of course, but also the things that you still can't get your head around, because I really wish I'd done that. So yeah, journaling, guys.
And I think it's something quite cathartic. I am just throwing that word out there. I'm not 100% sure if I'm using it in the right context, but I just wanted to sound smart, I guess. But I think actually physically writing something down, I've always found that I learn best through writing things. So I guess processing in terms of how I can deal with things. If I'm writing, then it helps me come to terms again with that. So I think for some people, journaling's really a powerful tool. I know my mum uses it quite a lot. And as you said, it, not that you want to look back on it, but sometimes like you are still in a state of shock in your grief, however long down the line. And sometimes, you know, sometimes when you're having a really bad day and you know you just need to cry, but sometimes the tears don't come. Wow. Once I start reading that, they're flowing.
Just going back on your old, like that was a really bad day, enough to reduce you to tears. But jokes aside, that's a really helpful tool, and I wish I did it. And it's made me sort of think that maybe I'll do it in other stages of my life.
Do it.
Hopefully, my dad doesn't die again. But yeah, this is a book that we've both used, isn't it?
It is.
Why has no one told me this before? By Dr. Julie Smith. I know that Julie actually has several books, and I would love to read all of them. So, disclaimer, I actually bought this book because I had a really bad spell of anxiety at the start of 2024. So much so that I just didn't recognise myself, and I had to read it from other people to learn how to regulate my emotions. And within this book I learnt a lot more about grief, which was very useful, and then useful to pass on to yourself.
Yeah, can I also just say a disclaimer?
Please do.
I didn't read this book because of grief. I read this book, again, like you, when I was really struggling with anxiety, but that was through the loss of the relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
So I hadn't read this. Well, I read this at that stage, and then I reread it after Vince died. So
different perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. But go ahead.
I love these sorts of books, again, to add on what we're saying, because it's genuinely has something for every mood. Like, as we've said, we've visited it for anxiety, and then we're like, brilliant, Dad's dead. Well, I've got just the tool already. Get the dust off and read about the stages of grief. Page 134 for anyone that has this book. Also, I have to give a massive shout out to the font. I love a good layout on a book, don't you?
Oh yeah, I do like
it just makes it a lot nicer. Yeah. Anyway,
read the stages of grief.
The stages of grief. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm talking about the font and you guys can't even see it. So we've got denial, we've got anger, we've got bargaining, we've got depression, we've got acceptance. And that's quite a big shift.
I've got that in the locker as well. Hugh wrote that. It was Elizabeth Kubler-Ross.
Ooh.
She also wrote the Change Model.
That's a name, isn't it?
And originally when she wrote that, the stages were meant to be the flow of when you go through the grief. But later, people realised that actually they come at all different stages.
I love that. And also what I love about this book is that it's not sort of like one size fits all. I think that like people grieve in completely different ways, and she's not necessarily saying that you have to feel the 5 stages of grief in a way that you believe that you should feel them. So for example, in the bargaining part, she says maybe this occurs in fleeting moments, maybe it's hours or days spent ruminating over the what if and if only, which I quite like.
Yeah.
It's quite flowery in a way, and I think it's extremely validating, which I think is something that, despite every single person going through grief in their life, where the hell is the validation when you are struggling? Because, yeah, someone's died, but there's also, oh look, they did shout out that lady that you said.
Okay.
Someone has died, but also, you know, why do I feel like this? Because it's not solely because of that person, it's because of every other thing that has happened in my life that is now coming back. And I really think this book sort of, it's relatable to everyone. And I, as I've said about the anxiety thing, about depression, just give this a go, and I promise it will serve you some sort of purpose in some sort of way. And you never know, you'll use it again.
Did I cut you off before you said acceptance, or did you say it?
I said acceptance.
Okay.
Because I thought that depression and acceptance was quite a stark
You
jump,
had to
wasn't
go
it?
from that. No, I think you're so right with that, and it's also, as you said, one of those books where you don't have to read it from start to finish. There's it goes through different chapters, and it also does a little summary at the end of each chapter, which is good.
We love the summary, which I will show to those watching on, and I'll read the summary.
Yeah,
Why
please
not?
do, because I doubt that we had to read it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, guys, zoom in and pause it while I'm shaking. So we've got, denial can help us survive the overwhelming pain of grief. As denial fades, this allows new waves of emotion to surface. When we experience anger about something we can't control, using physical movement helps us to use this physiological arousal and bring the body back down to calm for a while. Ooh. I don't think she's trying to get you hot while you're grieving. She could be. It might help. And then we've got skimming over the part that over the what ifs can easily lead down a path of self-blame, which I think everyone can relate to, especially if you have an anxious mind already.
Yeah.
And then we've got depression is a normal reaction after a bereavement, which is extremely validating, because I feel like when you're grieving and someone says, you know, oh, you're probably depressed as well, you're like, no, I'm grieving.
Yeah.
But then it can also be the other way, like, I'm so depressed. No, you're grieving. And I think that's a really nice way to put it, a normal reaction. Let's not sugarcoat it. It is incredibly.
I also feel like the anger stage doesn't get spoken about enough.
Totally.
Yeah, we spoke about like denial, Q and I, when we were talking about like that being such a stage of like the what ifs and the bargaining that you do. But yeah, I think anger's one that's not really spoken about as often. And I think everyone gets it.
I think anger's like almost the one that lasts the longest as well. I think the denial, I don't think denial sort of ever goes away, because you can't really ever get your head around it, which we spoke about obviously in the permanence episode. But yeah. And then, we've got acceptance. We keep cutting acceptance off. Guys, it is important, the acceptance. It's not the same as liking or agreeing with the situation. Again, very validating.
Oh, yeah. You're not like, oh,
you don't go, oh, that happened. Right, what's next? We've got the task of mourning as well. So yeah, it's a book that sort of takes you by the hand and says, let's do this together. I'm going to take some of your feelings away from you, and I'm going to help you to feel them and
learn
and learn about yourself, which honestly I was a bit skeptical, but I was in such a mess at the time of buying this book that I just thought, oh, something's got to help me. And now I can look back on it and think, wow, it helped me so much, and it will probably help me forever, because there's just absolutely everything in this book, and I cannot recommend it enough for grief, for anxiety, for depression, for stress, for worry, and just for learning about yourself.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or disconnected, you're not alone. I'm Dan Roberts, an internal family systems therapist and trauma healing specialist. I create guided meditations to help you reconnect with your inner calm and compassion. These practices are rooted in internal family systems therapy and are designed to support your healing journey, whether you're new to therapy or have been on this path for a while. You can find my full collection of meditations at danroberts.com or on Insight Timer.
My next book is called When Parents Die. Really cheerful.
What are you reading at the moment, Maz?
Nice light bedtime read. No, this one is pretty heavy, as you can imagine.
Really?
But it talks about learning to live with the loss of a parent, and I think it is obviously, again, super confronting, but it does talk about, and what I quite like about it is it has accounts of children and young adults who've lost their parents and
wow.
their own experiences of it. So it's nice to feel heard. It's nice to feel part of like a shit community, a bit like with this podcast. Like it's less isolating when you hear about other people's experiences. So yeah, I've started reading this, and again, I won't read it from kind of start to finish, but I'll pick it up and put it down when I like to. It was published in 1995 by, I feel like I've got to say their names.
Rebecca.
Just Rebecca. Because it's a sticker.
Wait, it's on the front, isn't it?
Okay.
Rebecca When Parents Die.
Rebecca Abrams. Anyway, she's a 1995 publisher girly. And the reason I say 1995 is because sometimes bits you read, it is a little bit dated.
Oh, really?
Not in like the respect of the lessons it's trying to get across, but sometimes like just the situations and the you've got to read it to know it. There you go. It's a little tease, guys.
Yeah.
But what I really find helpful about it is it kind of talks you through when it first happens, first 6 months, and then it talks about like 6 months to a year. And I really took a lot from this the other day because I read this part. And it says 6 months to a year, you can still expect to feel considerable grief 6 months after a parent's death. Your moods will continue to be unpredictable. Red hot memory can still play havoc with your emotions. And you may well find that only now is the fact of your parent's death and its implications for the rest of your life beginning to sink in.
Oh, wow.
And that really validated me this week because I feel like I've had a bit of a challenging week, and I don't know, I think like it's hard going back to that normality, and obviously it's been 8 months now, but you do still really struggle, and there is parts of you that thinks like, should I still be struggling with this? And this book talks all about it. I mean, this person said after my father's funeral was over, I did not cry again for 6 months, and it was closer to 8 months before I could really begin to look at death straight on in the face and what it meant. And I think that resonates with so many people.
Totally.
A lot of people can't deal with the loss there and then, so they have delayed grief. And yeah, I just think grief, as we always say, is not linear. So it kind of makes you feel okay to have those later stages of emotions, or just makes you feel validated in the sense that it's not something that's just going to be over in 6 months to a year, few years time. Like, this is something you will struggle with for the rest of your life.
I think it's important what you said as well, in the sense that when it first happens, you don't have to have any answers. You don't have to have or set any expectations. And I don't think that sort of just lasts when it just happens. I think that is a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
I think not having expectations with grief is the smartest thing you can do. Because I feel like once you start to accept, shout out Dr. Julie, even though that wasn't her quote. Who was it again?
Elizabeth Kubler-Ross.
Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Elizabeth
Kubler-Ross.
Kubler-Ross. 90+5.
Carry on.
Once I think the acceptance stage, it comes, but it also never really comes.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite important, and I think the validation of that is also very important, because we'll be told from people that might have grieved or haven't grieved that you know, oh, you must be feeling a lot better now. And I think sometimes that can be one of the most wounding things that someone can say to you, because, yeah, I mean, time is gone and I'm in a lot better place, but I'm not better, and I never will be. Yeah. And I think it's really important, not just for grievers to understand that, but for people that are supporting grievers, or just people that are people. I think everyone needs to know that. Yeah. You never recover from things like this, and there's a lot of other things in life that you don't recover from also. But stop setting expectations. Yeah. From start to finish.
Yeah. Preach.
Don't expect anything.
When parents die.
Bash.
A book.
A toast. So this is another book that this is actually a way nicer title, can I just say. It's The Things You Can Only See When You Slow Down, How to Be Calm in a Busy World.
Love.
And this is written by a Buddhist monk, which we've spoken a lot about Buddhist practices with grief. And also I must state again, I bought this book when I was in my high state of anxiety. I think that's probably the most I've ever spent on books in my life. Maybe
What a great like avenue to go down though, if you are
I know.
struggling with anxiety. And like, it is everyone's, I think that this again is a thing we highlight, like you've got to experiment with different things, and that is obviously something that has helped you.
I think as well with social media is sometimes I think For You pages are brilliant, but I also think they're a bit of a hindrance because you only see what you're used to consuming.
Yeah.
And I think when you're stuck in a rut of anxiety, you look on your screen and you see someone go, it will get better. And you're like, well, right now, the walls are caving in and I can't breathe.
My algorithm's just grief, so it's like,
yeah,
everyone just like, and obviously it's depressing because everyone's talking about grief, like shock, we all are sad about it, but like sometimes I go on TikTok and I'm just like, I just don't need to see like someone crying about their grief today when I'm having a slightly better day.
Yeah, totally. And I think that books are great in that sense because if you, as you said, you pick it up and put it down whenever you want, and I can't seem to put my phone down. So yeah, books are brilliant. This one is great because it doesn't focus on grief specifically. It's just about how you should live your life, and I've said it to you before, I really, really find comfort in, and what helps me the most is just being able to learn to step back, zoom out, and look at what you're really worrying about. And it's not about comparing yourself to other people, it's just about putting things into perspective and whether something is feeling really bad because it's the only thing consuming your mind, or whether something is feeling really bad because it's the only thing consuming your mind. Sorry, I just had to run that back. I haven't got any decks, sorry.
What have you got as a bookmark, by the way?
100 baht. Might spend it if I take
What
the book
currency?
to Thailand.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know who this
sweet.
geezer is. But I'm sure he practices mindfulness. Imagine if he's some awful dictator. Oh my god. Anyway. What I love about this book is something that I've always struggled with, and it's gratitude. And I think that grief and gratitude go hand in hand, and they don't sound like they should, because why the hell would you feel grateful for your life when your dad's just died or when someone's just died? But it's actually one of the most important things, because I think that's how you learn to live again. And I'll just read a bit of this book because it says, the more grateful we feel, the happier we become. This is because gratitude helps us realise we are all connected. Nobody feels like an island when feeling grateful. Gratitude awakens us to the truth of our interdependent nature.
Slow down for the end. Really like that. And I completely agree that gratitude and grief go hand in hand.
I think with grief, and what we were saying about gratitude though, is sometimes it feels impossible to feel grateful for things, and that sounds really difficult, but when you are in the thick of grief, the last thing you think is, I'm so happy about my life right now, because you do feel depressed. And depressive episodes or suffering from depression, the hardest thing you can do is look for just one glimmer of hope in your life, and that's why practicing gratitude is so important, because with grief, I've realised that something I'm grateful for is that I had my dad in the first place.
Yeah. And
And it's not that I never practiced it before, but you really don't realise it until it's gone.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean that I'm like, I wish he was with me still, but it's like, I am who I am because of him.
Yeah.
And I can handle things because of how he handled things, you know, his humour. And I'm sure you, well, I know that you say the same about Vince. And obviously how he impacted your mum, as you just said. Gratitude is so important, and I think it's important to practice it every single day, because you will always find something to be grateful for. Being healthy, having a roof over your head, having a job, having food in your fridge. And then, you know, they're sort of your basic human needs. And then it's, you know, the family, the friendships you have, extracurricular activities, us being able to do this and try and reach other people, and exercise emotions, and how to best practice, how to just get to know yourself. And gratitude is a very good symbolism of that, because sometimes I'm grateful for the music I listen to. Some people, you probably don't agree with that, but sometimes I'm grateful for, you know, having a nice meal. Most times I'm grateful for that, to be fair.
And how would you practice that though, Rose?
For that's what I mean. It's very different for each person. For me, it is genuinely. So me and Jamie got sad news recently that someone very, very close to us has got cancer, and I kind of lost touch of my gratitude before that, because it was in the sense of me getting up for work in the morning. I'd be like, God, I just want to sleep all day. I can't be bothered to do this. And now I wake up and I don't just think of that person, but I think, wow, I'm so lucky that what I'm complaining about right now is the job that puts a roof over my head. And a job that I absolutely love, and a job that I can do because I'm healthy and I'm fit. And I'm healthy, and I'm ready to contribute in a way that makes me so happy and gives me something back. So to me, gratitude is literally just being able to get up, sit at my desk and say, no, I'm where I want to be right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, at first, that doesn't look like waking up at 6:40 in the morning. But once I'm sat at my desk, I'm so ready to attack the day. And before that, I felt, you know, you can find yourself in depressive slumps, I think, when you think, oh, life's just a cycle of working and sleeping. But when you really zoom out and look and practice gratitude, you realise that everything in between is just as beautiful.
Love it.
Cheers.
Mic drop. So I think that was a good episode. I like doing like book club.
We could do it again.
We should do it again. We'll keep reading.
Not with some of the stuff that you read.
What?
Maz loves a crime/Holocaust thriller.
Yeah. But that helps me practice gratitude because I'm looking at such awful things that have happened in humanity. So that's my way of practicing. But yeah, I think that was a great episode. On the upcoming episodes, we have quite a few things going on.
We do.
We've got a new special guest coming on at some point in the near future who is going to talk about the religious side of grief. And yeah, she's Christian, so it'll give us a new perspective.
Love a new perspective.
And then yeah, I've got some other things coming up. But yeah, back to bi-weekly episodes. So this one will drop on Sunday, which is today if you're watching now. And then the next one will be in 2 weeks' time. But thanks as always for listening, guys.
And please let us know if any of this helped you, because we do this for us first and foremost, because we're selfish. But we really want to know if this has helped you, and we just hope that it does, genuinely, from the bottom of our heart, because it really does work. It really does work, and it doesn't take a lot of mind work to do it as well, which I think is really good when you're grieving.
Yeah, and open to what helps you as well. Like we'd love to learn more things to help us.
Please let us
equally.
know.
But thanks, guys. Love you.